For Tuesday, May 26, 2020, it's the Serenno Squadcast, the official podcast of the Serenno Squad. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Yeah.
So I'm done doing my R2-D2 impressions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know what we're talking about, but they will by the end of this video. Because we're definitely...
You have a blooper reel?
Yeah, exactly.
You should.
So stay tuned for the end of the video, because you're going to get something good.
For the last 2 months, it was basically, if we received any requests, we were supposed to basically tell them no, or, work at a distance requirement. But this, as of now, because of local law change, stay-at-home order.
What is going on? Am I the only one hearing this?
Yeah, I think we're losing you, Paul.
Thank you guys for joining us. How's everybody doing?
Good.
It's really hot.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It's a change from all the
it's gotten
cold,
hot.
rainy weather.
Yeah. Hot weather sucks.
I haven't been outside, so I couldn't tell you. I took a trash can to the curb. That's all I've done.
That's outside.
I'm clean.
Did you wear your gloves?
No, but I did wash my hands afterwards.
He didn't wear underwear. It was the damnedest thing.
Yeah, I was wearing this and nothing else.
Oh, that's why
risque.
I don't come over anymore.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't have neighbors anymore. They all floated away. So,
It's true. I do have a lake across my my street now.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the first segment. Legion news. We finally have some news.
sort of.
Sort of.
Kind of.
Paul, go ahead. Tell us what's the news.
So they lifted the trooping ban. So it was for the last 2 months. No, we were basically supposed to decline any trooping requests that would come in, or we would work out, distance alternatives. That has been lifted because of the change in local laws, and some states and some areas are lifting their stay-at-home orders. So now it's up to our own discretion.
Is this something that we heard from our own garrison, or was this from on high from just the 501st Legion in general?
This is from Legion Command.
Legion Command.
But it's been filtered through our garrison.
They put it. Yeah. It goes through our garrison CO and through me.
Excellent. So what does that mean that restrictions are being lifted?
We don't have to immediately decline any events that come in. It's more or less at our own discretion now.
Yeah, but we have to ask more questions now to make sure that things are being followed of 6 feet and not a great number of people.
Yep.
Yeah, less than 10 people. Make sure everybody's at least 6 feet apart. All those kind of recommended restrictions.
Yeah, we have some recommendations for internally as well. Like, I think if you can get dressed prior to an event, then do so. And if you can't, then you need to get dressed at your car, so parking lot change. So I don't think they're allowing we normally get like a room to all change in. I don't think they're allowing that right now.
That'd be great though, to get a request. We're happy that you guys showed up, and we thank you a lot. But there's more than 10 of you here, so we don't really have any room for anybody else.
And no, we haven't tried any type of trooping. We haven't tried any safe distancing or anything. I think all of us have decided to lay off until we had some more news like we just gotten. Is that right?
Well, I mean, really, what can we do? I mean, the whole reason for us being there is like people come by and they take pictures and stuff like that. We can't do that anymore. Not right now.
Yeah, not without being. I don't know how we do photo ops from a distance.
I don't know who's talking. I can't see you. I don't know.
Paul, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
Yes, Paul's moving, so he didn't want to make everybody motion sick with.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you know,
moving.
that's okay
So he shut off the
because
video.
this is there is an audio portion of this, so
Yeah, they're
we
not
can't
watching
just
it in VR.
not everyone's watching this.
Certainly not for this face.
But on YouTube,
Going
Paul
to a
is out.
different location because the signal is a little bit. I think
Awesome.
where I was at has, at least for the moment, bad signal. So I'm going to a place that might have better signal.
Yeah, it's kind of it's looking a little cloudy outside too, so I think it might just be weather as well. But the restrictions have been lifted, and that means I guess we're all gonna just go from day to day and figure out, you know, what seems to be actually doable for us, like in the next month or so, because in Virginia, I think we've got a new announcement or whatever that we're going to have to be required to wear face masks. And I don't know if any other states are doing this. Have you guys heard about that?
I know California is.
No,
They've
okay.
they've had to they've had to for several weeks now, I think.
So I don't know if that will affect us or if things will start opening up quicker or what. Paul, you're
I don't
back.
see us
Yeah.
getting any more troops anytime soon, because like kind of the nature of the events that we go to are, like Wayne said, there are lots of people, especially in the summer. The events that we typically do are like ball games with hundreds or thousands of people, or we do that summer solstice event in Blacksburg, which is like a ton of people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I
movie
don't
thing
see
downtown.
any of those
Yeah,
events
symphony.
happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I
Gotcha.
mean, we don't do a lot of like small intimate stuff anyway. I mean, every once in a while we will, but few and far between.
So just because the restrictions are lifted doesn't really mean that we're going to start trooping anytime soon.
Yeah, it just means that we don't have to say no.
Yeah.
That's really the only change for me.
Well, I guess that's news of some sort.
Yeah, pretty much beforehand, it was like an immediate no.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a maybe.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, is there anything else you can think of? Any more announcements that they made as far as Legion news goes?
Not really.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't think so.
Pretty uneventful.
There's an unidentified flying object passing in front of Wayne's screen. No idea what that was.
How we pass from this is to the next topic. You'll get the Star Destroyer of topic change.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So does that mean we're gonna wait? What's the next topic then, Wayne?
I don't know. It's your thing. I'm just here, man.
It seemed like you were gonna segue us into something there.
I just did, and you blew it. You blew it.
Wow. Well, I was gonna talk about some channel news next, anyways.
Okay.
Some new things we got up on the channel. We've got the DL44 video that I've been working on, the 3D print. It took forever. Finally got that up, and also we are planning. I've talked to Evan. He has gotten his Boba Fett helmet from was the Black Series?
Yeah, it's the Black Series Hasbro Boba Fett helmet.
And as we know, Evan is our Boba, and he has his own hand painted and put together helmet. So we thought it'd be cool to make a video of a comparison of the two. And since Evan has had, his hands on it the most, he'll be the guy to do it. So got that to look forward to.
Yep.
But back to the DL44 video. Was there anything that you guys thought was maybe a technique that you would change, or what did you guys think?
It felt like to me, the way you did it is fine. If it worked for you, it's fine. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying it looked to me like you put 3 times the work into it to weather it than you needed to by putting the silver down and letting that dry, then putting black, then wiping the things down. Where you
I
could have
felt
done
that
a
afterwards,
black
especially
and then
once I got to
dry
brushing.
brush the gold, dry brush the silver. Hey, look, Ma, I'm done.
Exactly. That's what I figured out with once I started the dry brush on that scope, and it looks better. The dry brush actually looks a lot better. And
yeah, an opinion.
well, yeah, if it's done right, I feel like, it does look better. And another thing I mentioned in the video was I had done the whole silver all over and, even covered up the wooden grips. And so if you were to chip it, it would be shiny metal underneath, which is not real, at all. So learned a lot from the video, but what else? What else did you guys get from that?
Nothing. The putty stuff that you were using to fill in the cracks, what were you using?
That was some Bondo automotive body filler.
Okay.
And you can get that at Walmart. You can get it even like at Advanced Auto. And it just comes in a tube.
Used in the tube and not the jar or not the can.
Yep, you don't have to mix it, and it dries really fast.
That's the kind I have, is the kind in the can where you have to mix it, and it's such a pain. And there's
and that stuff is really brittle. It's really brittle when it dries. Yeah. I don't like it as much. I feel like this stuff is a lot better.
Is it different? I figured they would be the same.
I think it's different. It's really grainy, but it's not as brittle as the Bondo, if that's what you were using, because that's what I use. I use Bondo. Yeah. And I found that it's just too brittle. So, but for filling and stuff like that, that's perfect, because you just squirt it out of the tube and you just smear it into the grooves and then, sand it down. And that's one of the quickest ways you can knock down some 3D printed lines.
That's what Chris did on his R2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may have to get some of that, because I'm working on the clone belt. All of the boxes on the belts are resin, and they've got little pinholes all over them, I guess just from where air bubbles when they were making them. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I'm going to have to go over them and just fill them all in. And I was going to use the 2-part epoxy, but when you use that, something that small, you're going to waste so much of it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, another mistake that I remember that I made was, like you were saying, that I took a lot of time into putting layers and waiting for stuff to dry. And I got so impatient that I just wanted to, once it was dry enough to touch, I wanted to put tape on it and to go to the next step. And, that was great until I went to pull up the tape. And it wasn't necessarily that it ripped up any of – sometimes it did pull up the finish, but it actually left like a horrible like residue from the adhesive, or it just mashed it down into it and caused it to just look dull. It was horrible. So that was another thing I learned from. Yeah, that's right. Gotta let it dry.
This hobby requires so much patience.
Yeah. And you can cut some corners for certain things, but you got to think it through first. You got to be like, all right, if I'm going to do this, then I have to, go about it this way. And like yesterday I was doing my clone belt, and I was like, okay, I want to paint the belt so that there are 2 colors. It's got to be white and it's got to be yellow. And I want to paint it one color, let it dry for just a little bit, and then go on to the next color. And I knew that if I wanted to do that, I'd have to do the white paint first. The white paint is matte, and the yellow is a gloss. So I knew the gloss would take way longer to dry. So I did the white first before I even did the yellow. And then I was able to cover it up, paint the yellow, and take it off and let both the white and the yellow continue to dry. So
What is your belt made out of?
That is actually like craft foam. I have a huge roll that is crazy, and it's about 2 or 3 millimeters thick, and it's the exact thickness of the grooves that are cut out in my belt boxes. And so what I'm kind of hoping is that, over time it'll crack a little bit and it'll give a little bit of weathered look to it. And I even tested it out because Evan and I were talking about it, and he asked if it would crack, if the paint would crack on the foam and stuff. And I spray painted a sample piece, but I did it with primer first and then put on my coat. And I went to town with it, and I couldn't even scratch it off. So I think it depends on how you do it. And I tell you what, it's that foam and super glue with the 3D printed parts I have, it is bonded so good that I tried to rip it from it, and it basically ripped the foam off just in the spots that it was glued. So it's like, those belt boxes aren't coming off at all. And it held up really, really good. That sounded
Yeah,
crazy.
but if you catch a box or something on something and it rips it off, you're going to have to replace that whole belt.
Yeah, well, it depends. It depends because it is. I think it's a lot sturdier than maybe you'd think. I mean, it's light, but it is. There's no way I could get hung on it without me. I don't know. I'd have to be falling from a building or something for that to come off. I feel like. I mean, the way that I pulled on it and tested it and stuff, I don't think it's going where. I can probably swing the belt above my head all day long, but it would rip in my hand. I mean, I tried ripping it and tearing the stuff, and I couldn't even do it. I tried testing it out all ways that I could, and I think it's going to work out. I don't know. Have you guys actually had experience trying it out and using it, putting it out in the field, or has it been more of, oh, I heard this was a really bad idea?
What, the craft foam?
The craft foam.
I haven't used it at all.
Yeah, I know there's a guy who sells rubber belts. That's it.
Right. Well, not
Yeah,
necessarily for belts, just any project.
I'm trying to
if that
find the
was
right
something.
paint for mine right now, actually.
No.
Gotcha. Yeah, good luck
Yeah,
with that.
some people will try to make armor out of foam, and then you can't ever get the right like texture to it, I guess.
Right,
Like it always
yeah.
looks like foam. Like when something's made out of plastic, you can make it look like metal, like it looks like in Star Wars or whatever they call it, like plasteel or But you can't get foam to look like metal or plastic unless you are just working an ungodly amount of time and getting it.
Some people like you ever watch those Evil Ted videos? You never seen Evil Ted, his prop building videos? He does some really good stuff.
I know Evil Arnie and I know Ted Talk. I know Ted Danson.
There's too many Teds.
Oh.
No, well, check him out, seriously. He does I mean, he's one of those guys that you see and you're like, man, there are other ways you could do it that are definitely more accurate, but this guy wants to make it from scratch, everything. And
there's some people like that.
You know what I mean? Where they're like, none of this was vacuum formed, none of this stuff. Like I cut out each piece and made it look, it's almost like someone making paper mache costumes, but except the foam allows them to do some really neat stuff as far as bending and curves and stuff. I mean, it's just like sewing. It's you're using kind of planes and stuff like that.
Back before I got into the 501st, I did a ton of research on doing a ODST costume from Halo out of foam. Like I went so far as to, like, I watched this one guy, I watched every single one of his videos, and I was like, I made like a list of all the things that I would need, and I was like, I'm going to do this. And then I kind of got a little bit into the 501st, and I was like, well, this seems like a lot more fun, a lot more rewarding, a lot less work, which it was. So Yeah, but now with
Yeah.
3D printing, it's like I could like if I want to do that, I can just print an ODST armor. So I feel like
Had a 3D printer.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Oh, that
Yeah, that's.
here.
yeah, if only I had a 3D printer.
Oh, it's okay. Gunner has one. We're already talking about something too. So, and Wayne as well. Wayne and I were talking about what was that thing? It was like a rotary cannon.
Yeah.
Oh, the Z6.
Yeah, I found the
Oh,
3D files for it in a video.
He showed me the video on it last night, and I've already got some ideas. I know how to make it spin up, and I'm thinking if I can get a bright enough light for it, instead of using wooden dowel rods, I'll use PVC pipes of the same diameter.
That's what I was thinking.
If I spray paint down the center of them with silver, that should be bright enough to catch a light. I may be able to hit this right to where it actually looks like there's laser lights coming out of it.
That would be sweet. I mean, and I was watching the video and I saw the wooden dowel, so I was like, man, that could be done a little better. Just because it's so heavy,
and that would actually make it lighter.
Yeah.
So
that I'm looking forward to. And then also Evan, he wants to be the his next build, the armorer, right?
Yep, but it's not for me. It's for Heather.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do it. I thought it was gonna be a gender thing. Like you were gonna pull it off, which I can do. That's great. I think that's a great idea.
Heather's been talking about that costume since she saw it on The Mandalorian. Like I remember we saw whatever episode she appeared in the first time. She was like, "This needs to be my next costume," and I was like, "All right, we'll figure something out." So
even better.
I spent a lot of time. I've been on the armorer build group for months and months, and I've priced out all the different options. And definitely, 3D printing was so absurdly less than what some other people have some really great products, but like, I mean, we're talking about the difference of $1,000 3D printed versus getting a fiberglass kit fully painted. And I was like, yeah,
that's crazy. That's just. I don't know. I guess that was part of the reason why I got a 3D printer is because I knew
$1,000.
And not only that, but that's just one thing.
Yeah.
With the 3D printer, you can print that one thing a billion times and then a bunch of other billion different props or different things that you want. I mean, it's just a matter of time before all the files for everything's available on there.
Yep.
Like I sent you guys that video of or the picture of the toilet paper spindle because my wife she's pregnant and got sick and rested her head on the toilet paper roll and it snapped, and so I was able to find the files for the same exact old spindle, and it was like all you have to do is use the old spring from your old one and it worked perfectly. So little things like that,
That's pretty
exciting. Cool. But yeah,
I think I had connection problems.
So we have that to look forward to. We have the rotary cannon project and the armor.
Yeah, when are we starting on that, by the way?
Well, Evan got to me first, so I'm gonna do it. And plus, he's just doing the helmet for now, right?
For now, yeah. We have files for the rest of the bits, but I really want to get the helmet and see if I can make it look really good. And right now the files I got for the rest of the costume were all free files, so it's kind of hard to judge how good this seems. Like a lot of people are using these files, and from what I can tell, they're good files, but I need to do a little bit more research, and I just want to try to dive in a little bit.
Yeah, save yourself as much headache now. Find what's accurate so that whenever you get it there in front of you, or you're sending pictures for approval or whatever, there aren't just a little bit of difference. Just try to get it all accurate from the beginning.
I don't know if it's something we would want to go for approval, because right now the only club that's taking approvals for it is the Mando Mercs. So I don't know if that's their approval process is notoriously difficult.
I was gonna say, don't get me wrong, a lot of the people as the Mandalorian Mercs, the people are fine. They're great.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Well, no, it's just their club and their approval process and the standards and stuff, and it seems so all over the place, and it just
Yeah, they are.
It's very,
they have
very
weird rules.
subjective. Yeah.
so.
Well-
I mean, I like the people, and for the people who've gotten stuff approved through them, great. I don't know how you did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you just want to aim for approval. You don't necessarily, that's what you're.
Yeah.
Is there a CRL for it? Is that what you're going to be going by, or will you just
So-
be using reference photos?
No,
There-
from what
I-
no, go ahead.
I think there is a CRL for it. But what I'm hoping is that by the time we actually get everything all done, because technically it's a good guy character, I'm hoping that it's going to show up in maybe be a Rebel Legion approvable costume.
Yeah.
There's
It's
still-
just going to come down to somebody having to submit it.
Yeah, there's still a possibility that it may be 501st, but I read because we have some generic bounty hunters that are in 501st.
Anything would be a denizen, I would think.
Well, they have the Bounty Hunters Guild, and that's kind of like they just anything that's like Mandalorian-esque, they just chuck in there. So
You're a bounty hunter.
So it's possible that the armorer may end up as a 501st CRL, but from what I understand and reading the threads on the 501st Legion forums from the LMOs themselves, they aren't really interested in pursuing a CRL for the 501st at this time.
Because we only see her, we don't see them as a bad guy.
Yeah.
We only see them as a good guy.
Yeah,
Right.
they're not even neutral, really. I mean, like the armorer is pretty clear cut a good guy.
Yeah, with her melting stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Nice. So that's
How much
that's
hard
exciting.
armor is actually on the armor? I know it's the helmet. Is there a chest
It's
piece?
not much.
Chest
It's
piece and
helmet-
shoulder bells.
helmet, chest, back, toe caps, and then there's 3 greeblies on the belt. The shoulder caps are actually leather, and everything else
Oh.
is leather or cloth. So our plan is to get all of the cloth and leather stuff from Jim Tripon. His kit's really good, and it's just it's really the only one out there right now. But his cloth stuff is usually pretty good. I'm not always a huge fan of his hard armor because he rushes to finish stuff and he doesn't make a whole lot of strides in updating stuff after the fact. So what is on Wayne's head?
It's a tarantula. No.
I wouldn't either.
Oh.
What is that?
Is that Newt Gunray?
Oh wow, that's weird.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them.
Where did
There it
you
is.
get those?
I got a whole roll.
Why?
What the heck? Is that
Why do
from
you have
like
a roll
the
of
lobby of the premiere?
I don't ask you questions where you get things, do I? I just let you live your life.
So now we know that Wayne has a roll of Newt Gunray stickers. That's information that could be
That's-
useful.
Yeah, he's one of the most lovable Star Wars
I
characters.
also have a roll of original trilogy stickers when it came out on DVD. I got plenty of rolls of stickers.
Oh, is
Wow.
that Blockbuster? Is that where you got it from?
Nope.
Blockbuster never had anything that cool.
We'll tell you, the new gun race, that's from Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut did a lot of Star Wars stuff with the prequels, or at least the first movie.
I loved it.
Yeah, because it was Pizza Hut, KFC, Taco Bell.
And like Dr. Pepper,
Pepsi.
collected all the Dr. Pepper cans.
Yeah, they had all the Pepsi cans.
Oh, I actually had the R2D2 cooler that would be in gas stations, and you'd reach your hand in his head, which was clear with little blue and white
try
panels.
to give me that. I'm like, where would I put it? I can't put it anywhere right now.
I took mine and put it in my clubhouse when I was like
Well, that's how the other
9
half-
years old, and I kept it for
Okay.
years. And then eventually, it held tools in my garage, and then we threw it away because the legs got knocked off. They were made out of cheap plastic. So
Wah, wah.
Also,
But
if
it
you
would-
have any,
Kept it,
if
but
you
you
have
could've
any of those
reprinted 'em.
Pepsi cans, pour them out. Pour the soda out.
what's going to happen to them?
They'll explode.
Soda is very corrosive. Yeah, you
Oh,
want to take the
so
soda out of the
They're
can.
more valuable without the soda.
It's not a matter of value. It's a matter of gross things happen.
Safety. Gotcha. Well, that's great.
So you're saying that if you leave the soda in the can, it'll be like the bathtub scene from Breaking Bad.
I haven't.
No.
Yeah, I don't know that reference.
It's not a good reference. You don't want to
No,
know.
it's bad.
Don't worry. It's gross, like you said. All right, moving on to our next topic, which is our top story. Very exciting stuff going on with NASA for the first time in over a decade.
Which Star Wars movie is that?
Star Wars
Space Force.
Star Wars Space Force.
U.S. Space Force. Yes. So
Been coming since 1984 with the Star Wars project.
yeah, is that Reagan or who started all that?
No, just in general. Just I guess I could do Reagan.
No, don't do Reagan. All right. So, anyways,
That's
tomorrow?
necrophilia.
Today is Tuesday, and tomorrow, the 27th, they're scheduling the launch of a shuttle from SpaceX. Correct?
It's not a shuttle. It's just a
transport
capsule.
ship.
It's just like the old like the Apollo missions where they would launch them on top of a rocket. It's like that.
Okay? I assumed that was all shuttles. So this is just a rocket.
So the thing with the shuttle is
the launch.
The shuttle was they would launch the shuttle because they had the two big boosters and
Right, I'm
the
saying
solid
it's not
rocket.
an actual launch like you're thinking of, like when they did the rockets, the whole thing's standing up. And then,
The shuttle launched like that.
and moving on.
Yeah, they're so as the resident rocket scientist, which legally I'm allowed to call myself a rocket scientist.
Yes, perfect.
It's just
Proof, or I'm going to sue you, but go ahead.
it's the first.
I'm gonna need some credentials.
Well, I'll go show you my degree.
He has the plastic helmet behind him.
Well, he says he doesn't know the papers.
Okay, Evan, please talk.
Okay, it's the first manned space flight from the United States since 2011, which was when the final space shuttle was retired. So in 9 years we've been using Russian rockets primarily.
Yeah.
So this will be the first manned space launch from the US, which is really, really cool. And they're launching on the tip of a rocket like old times. It's the SpaceX capsule. It's going to be on top of a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. And it's just taking dudes to the ISS. So same mission that they've been doing for however many years since the ISS has been a thing, but now it's us doing it, and we can use. I think that's the reusable rocket. I'm not quite sure which rockets are reusable and which ones aren't. But if it is one of the reusable rockets, then there's a pretty big cost savings there. So that's a cool thing to kind of perpetuate as those rockets that land themselves.
I would just like to point out that it is 2020 now, and that Elon Musk has worked on a luxury flight to space. Why are we not just doing it like that to the International Space Station at this point? And why are we not at a point where just like any of us could, hey, do you want to go up to the International Space Station today?
Well,
like a
theoretically, if space travel had been on the same path since the 1960s and had never died down because, the Cold War kind of slowed down, technically, if the Cold War had never slowed down, we probably would have had bases on the moon by now, and we definitely would have been at least on Mars. But competition breeds advances, and without competition, it's kind of stagnated.
Yeah, and we have been stagnant for a while. I was really bummed whenever I heard that they were shutting down the whole shuttle program. Yep. So when I heard that SpaceX was going to be the next guys to do something, and I think it is. I think it's the Dragon rocket.
The Dragon capsule, and then supposedly Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin is also working on a capsule. Boeing is working on a capsule, although they had a big like a big kerfuffle. I think last year where they were doing some testing and something exploded.
Yeah, they had a really bad year. I heard Boeing had a really rough year.
Yeah,
And then with the pandemic, that didn't help either. Being
So
big
the
airplane.
SpaceX.
No, go ahead.
SpaceX, I guess, relies a lot on the seemingly unending pockets of Elon Musk, so they seem to be able to weather whatever storm happens. I mean, I don't really know what their books look like, underneath it all, but it seems like they're just rolling right along.
Very cool. Very cool. So tomorrow, other than like YouTube and going to like the SpaceX channel, where would you watch this? Just on the news? Is this going to be big news, or is this going to be shadowed in everything else that's going on?
It seems like it's pretty big news. I mean, it's really the only story that's happening other than coronavirus, and I think people are getting kind of sick of coronavirus.
Right.
So
pun intended, right?
But there should be NASA will be showing it live streaming. So I mean, if people still have like the NASA channel, it'll probably be on there. I mean, they are NASA astronauts after all, so I guess it's kind of a partnership between them. And there's a new spacesuit, so that's pretty cool. I do remember when I visited the SpaceX facility in 2013, they had those spacesuits. They had like a prototype of those spacesuits they were showing us, so that was pretty cool.
How many people? Oh,
I
go
would
ahead.
like to ask a question as far as like, all right, this seems to be going, in order along. So in like 2018, Space Force was introduced. And then a few months ago, NASA was like, yeah, there's UFOs. Here's some pictures of them. Now we've got this going on. And literally today or yesterday, I can't remember which, Ted Cruz said that we need Space Force to protect us against space pirates. Somebody knows something.
Space pirates.
I'm just saying.
That's true. That's that's the future, though.
What are we preparing for exactly?
The Star Wars.
Would you like to know more?
We're preparing for this.
Yeah. Galactic Empire. That's what we're preparing for.
The only good bug is a dead bug.
And this really cool poster behind me.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I can't see anything. Doesn't look that cool.
The Drew Struzan circus style poster.
Oh, that's neat.
I don't know what that is. Is that from a movie or something?
It's
The A New Hope poster.
of a movie.
Is that a thing? Is that like Breaking Bad?
It is. It's just like Breaking Bad.
Yes.
All right, moving on to the next segment. I talked to you, Evan, a little bit about the kind of research you've been doing as far as Saber Guild goes.
Yes.
Are we going to be twirling lightsabers anytime soon?
If you are interested, we are still kind of working out the details. I'm trying to just learn right now. There's a lot to learn that's not necessarily a good crossover from 501st. So they are very strict on their costuming requirements, which has kind of given me a lot of hesitation on what direction I want to go. I originally wanted to do like an armored sort of Jedi, but it seems like it could be difficult to get that approved. So the suggestions are to kind of go with the baseline Jedi just so you can get a costume, get approved, and then you start. For people who live in more populated areas, they could just go and join their local temple, but we live in the middle of nowhere, which isn't really the middle of nowhere, but we don't have a Saber Guild temple, so it might as well be.
Right.
So been trying to learn some easy moves that anyone can really understand. They call it the 9 count, or was it 8 count or 9 count?
Don't ask me. You've been doing the research.
I think it's
What kind of learning are you doing exactly?
not good learning.
It doesn't sound very good at all.
I think
Sounds like dance steps.
It is kind of. I think it's the 7, 8.
Now
So,
I'm just picturing Evan out in his yard with a saber. 5, 6, 7, 8.
It's basically like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, Paul, did you watch the that they had like a guy was doing like a live demonstration?
I watched part of it.
Yeah, I
Um,
watched it for about an hour, and I was like, I had my lightsaber, and I was like, going along with them. It was pretty fun, actually.
Nice.
It's costuming, but it's also choreographed moves. So
Yeah.
you're either inventing your own fight that is choreographed like they would in movies, or you're recreating a fight from the movies.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you could learn different moves and techniques and stuff where it's, everybody's kind of on the same page. Everybody's doing the same moves and stuff. There's probably different styles
Whole
for
thing,
different
yeah.
moves.
to make sure that that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
how
the whole thing is
keep from getting
choreographed.
hurt.
Right. And then even though, it's in a sense choreographed, you could probably learn enough moves and stuff where you can freestyle a choreographed scene,
If you want some, Paul.
Save those for
Somewhat.
me. Please, can I have those?
Well, you can have some of them.
I want the whole roll.
Gunnar, are you a Jar Jar apologist as well?
Gar
Hey.
Gar Binks in the house right here.
I demand at least some of those Jar Jar stickers.
That's why.
You're going to do horrible things to them, Paul.
Excuse me, I have Jar Jar's autograph. Thank you very much.
I know. I saw that day before yesterday when I took a tour of your house. I wore a mask, by the way.
Yes, I know.
I was very curious.
Not a man.
By the way, you have a great collection of stuff.
Okay.
There's a sketch from Dave Filoni and his autograph on a helmet. I mean,
Yes.
what the heck? That's okay.
That's what happens when you go to a party and you shove a helmet in his hands and say, "Sign this."
And instead, he draws a picture of a what was that? It was a Phase 1 looking.
It was from
Rex.
It was from 2010. So yeah, it was a clone, Phase 1 clone, like the early seasons of Clone Wars.
So cool.
That's cool.
The best.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
The early seasons?
No, this the Phase 1 clone.
Phase 1 clone. He said those are the
Oh.
best clones.
I would 100% agree with that. Nah.
No.
No, but so when you talk about doing costuming for Saber Guild, do you actually have to be a canon Jedi, or can you just be a Jedi? Get you some robes, and you're Evan the Jedi.
It's sort of like Rebel Legion, where you can do it's sort of opposite from Rebel Legion. Rebel Legion, you can traditionally people are going to do a canon character like Luke Skywalker or Leia or whatever, and you can do your own Jedi to an extent. In Saber Guild, it's kind of the opposite, where most people do their own Jedi or their own Sith, and then you can get approved canon characters. So I know several people who have gotten Kylo Ren approved. So theoretically, I could actually get my Kylo Ren approved. I'm still on the fence of whether I want to do that, or because I can't realistically fight with Kylo, so it kind of seems like against the spirit of Saber Guild to me. Because I don't know, because ultimately I would want to have a costume that I could move and fight in. So
You just gotta get Heather to dress as Rey, then she can whack you with a saber.
I'm still trying to convince her to do Bastila Shan, but she's not on board with that. I'm like, you get a yellow double-bladed lightsaber. There's nothing cooler than that, but but yeah,
There
I
is
mean,
nothing cooler.
there's a lot to it. It's not like your normal costuming, because their costuming is fairly strict. So you have that aspect. That's really all you need to do to get into the Saber Guild, but then to really be part of the experience as a whole, it's just like trooping, where you can get approved in the 501st with a costume, but if you don't go out and troop, it's kind of like you're only getting half the experience. So the other half of experience in Saber Guild is learning the choreography and then combining the two, costuming and choreography.
Is there a secret handshake?
There very well might be, because when I was talking to the guy up in I think he lives in Baltimore, Randy. I think he runs their temple there, or he's at least high up in their temple. I think Wayne and Paul, you guys have both talked to Randy on a few occasions. So he is an absolutely fantastic guy, amazing resource. He sent me a whole bunch of videos that I haven't had the chance to look at yet just because I've been so busy. But he's really been our kind of point guy for all of this. He knows everything about Saber Guild. So, and
he really wants us. He wants more people involved.
Yeah.
So he's very much a cheerleader for it.
We were totally gonna make a pilgrimage up there to go to. Before all this happened, we were gonna go and we were gonna go sit in on a practice and see how it all goes. And then it all got flushed down the drain. But we're trying the best we can.
Yeah. And you can do both light side and dark side characters. So you can do.
And most people do both because there's two sides to each choreography, and I think the idea is that you would learn both sides, so you would be able to do both light and dark side.
And you'd probably need
together in the same car.
Yeah, no, not at all. But I'm sure you would be required to get a lightsaber too. So. Is there a
Yeah, I don't think it's like a pool hall where there's going to be a house saber.
Yeah.
It'd be all warped, be rolled across the table.
Now, and you can't just come in there with your telescopic.
No,
lightsaber.
You need something that's gonna be an appropriate length. Most of those little lightsabers are not going to be appropriate length, and you need something that's going to be durable. So obviously, it's choreography. You're not actually sparring, so. Really,
but there is contact.
There is contact.
You're still swinging for contact.
It's all pulled, so everyone is pulling their hits. So you need a saber that I wouldn't call it heavy dueling. Like standard dueling blades are going to be okay, but my thinking is if you really want to go on the absolute low end, you can pick up like an $80 saber from Ultra Sabers. That's just light only. It's basically just a metal hilt it's just a metal flashlight with a dueling blade attached to it, and no sound, one color, and that's fine. I mean, if you really want to get on it with just the choreography stuff, then by all means go that route.
Yeah, I think that might be the route that I take because it seems like fun. It's been probably 17 years since I've spun a lightsaber around in my yard, but I think I'm ready to do it again.
It's been about 17 hours for me. I watched YouTube videos. I was like, I'm going to learn how to do a regular spin. That was like the first thing. Like I learned the 8, I still can't remember if it's the 8 or 9 count. But the count, I figured that out. And then, well, clearly I haven't, but I tried. And then I wanted to figure out a spin. I was like, I don't even know. I'm watching people spin a lightsaber, and I'm trying to do it, and I'm just whacking myself in the chest. So I figured out a spin. I still can't do the Obi spin where he spins it behind his back. I watched a YouTube video over and over. I have no idea how you do it. You have to like twist your hand a weird way to like get it behind your back and then twist it back out. I don't know. Still not there yet.
Twist that wrist.
All I can do is the spin to the side.
Yeah, that's what I learned. You kind of like let it go, except for in your two fingers, and you kind of flip it with the 2 fingers and then grab it again.
Yeah.
Wayne, what kind of lightsaber would you have?
I'd probably get a custom creations because you have 16 different blade colors and 16 different sounds. Plus just all the effects on it and everything. It'd probably be the way I end up going because all of it's like spar ready, but there's also, and it also has the the adaptable memory to where, say like you bought it today and then next week it was like, hey, we came up with a whole new bunch of stuff. You buy one saber from him, it's good forever. You can
do updates,
do stuff for it, and that type of thing's important to me.
Right. Yep. I wonder how many people are out there that are the total opposite, where they're like, I like a purist, like this lightsaber has a red crystal and it only glows red. This is my Sith lightsaber.
That's kind of the default, is just to get a blade with one LED in it, and you don't change it, and it's got really simple electronics. The one that I got it's a multicolor LED, so I can go to, I guess it has 3 LEDs, so it can do any combination of red, green, and blue. So it has an app with it, so you just go into the app and you pick any color in the rainbow.
Wow.
Yeah, my Obi-Wan is just one color. It's just blue. No
That's
sounds.
cool.
But it's also a beautiful saber and just a really nice shade of blue.
Yeah, and I've got a day blade on order. It'll be here sometime between tomorrow and 3 months from now.
Okay.
It's
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, I've got new buttons coming, and the same type of buttons that Paul got for his chest box. I went ahead and ordered some of those too, and I was like, while I was there, I was like, hey, is there any chance I could get some for my Death Star gunner helmet? And he was like, sure. What's the sizes of them? And I sent him the size, and he was like, oh, I thought those were this size. I was like, no, they're this size. So I think he's just gonna cut them for me.
Oh, that's so cool.
Wait, what are they on the gunner helmet?
Aren't they like a
Yeah.
reflective red? No.
No, it's just a red, white, and blue. But I think it's going to look better with that style of red, white, and blue, other than the hand painted resin pieces that came with them. And
Sure.
the red and the white on the TIE Pilot box are 5/8 inches. The ones on the helmet are not the same size. I thought they were, but they're not. They're 13/16. And so he's just going to make new ones, just 13/16 ones for me. Well, okay. And only charged me $12 for all of it, including
Nice.
shipping.
Nice. That's a
Yeah.
deal. Can't beat it with a stick.
And I finished all the updates on my TIE Pilot chest box.
Nice.
Excellent.
Replaced the cogs. I replaced all the buttons. I replaced the greeblies at the bottom with metal ones, and I replaced the switches. So it all looked
Were you
much better
able to
now.
record it?
No, I didn't record it because it was basically doing the exact same things I was doing the previous time.
Hey, it's still good stuff. I learned from that video. I had no idea that there were 3. It basically looks like there are 4 buttons, and one of them they picked off and placed to the side. You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's a blank spot. Except on
Yeah.
the Inferno chest box, it actually is a black button.
Yep,
Yeah.
it is.
I think it's the same with Rogue One.
Gotcha. So whenever I saw your video, I was like, oh my goodness, I never noticed that detail before. So
Yep.
Yeah,
I learned something.
Give me new stickers, because I wasn't going to redo the box because I didn't know, if I'd be able to get that look again. But Walt, since I bought the box from him, is just sending me the stickers. So I was like, well, screw it. I'll just peel those off. I've got the new buttons on the way. I got new cogs and new buttons on the way for the side and all that. And I was like, well, let's just redo the box so it matches the rest of the chest.
Cool. Yeah, do it.
Yeah. In
All
total,
right.
like $40 worth of upgrades.
Yeah.
It's reasonable, but it looks good. It looks it doesn't look, the stuff you had before didn't look bad, but this,
Yes, it did.
it did. These look much better. They look way
Yes, they
better.
do.
It looks has a nice, reflective quality to it. And yeah, it looks really nice. They almost look like tiles, like actual tiles. But yeah,
Because that's what they are.
they are
little-
tiles.
They're little acrylic tiles.
Well,
Yeah, it's
there
the
you
same
go.
thing that they've got on the officers.
Okay, gotcha. Very cool. All right, moving on to the next thing, and the last segment we got here. I just wanted to talk about the last couple episodes of Star Wars Gallery, and have you guys gotten a chance to watch them?
Yes. And that technology, it's like, okay, I thought I understood, reasonably well understood how modern movies are made. That most recent episode just said, oh yeah, everything you know is no longer applicable. We're doing things completely different now.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's
yeah.
recently. Pretty
Is
recently.
that a technique anyone else uses?
Not to the same
Video
extent.
games.
It's
Video games use it. That's about it.
it's the idea of a video game, but kind of in reality. It's a
Yeah.
mixture of VR, video game engines, and these super high definition LED screens. That there were behind the scenes shots of just the directors and actors just sitting on the stage that without any effects touching up to it looked real. Like it looked like they're on a location.
It looked a lot like if you've ever seen the behind the scenes to the Dawn of Man segment of 2001: A Space Odyssey. You would think that that whole segment was filmed on location, but it wasn't. It was all done on a stage with a wall that was painted to look exactly like, or no, actually, I think he used projection. I think he used basically the same type of technique, and yet they were on a stage. And
They mentioned that in the show.
Oh, they did? Okay. Well, shoot.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like a ring of monitors going all the way around, and there's a space in the middle where the actors and minor set pieces are. And then literally in real time, as they move the camera, the background shifts and the perspective changes. Everything changes to match that view
it's a lot
in
of
real
math.
time. Yeah. So they compared it to like when you're playing a video game and you move the camera around, that's what's happening as they move the real camera, so as they can do a
there's
tracking
certain times
shot
where you can see where the camera's pointing, because in the back the view is up and different.
and they said this is something they've been playing with for a while, and like as you're just standing there, it looks weird, but through the camera, it looks perfect. So it's literally witchcraft.
Sorcery.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is dark magic.
So that was technology,
Most
which was
most
episode
recent
4.
one, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we
most
kind of
recent one.
it overshadowed the third one, which I don't even remember what the title was.
That was the
That was the
actors.
actors.
Okay, cast. Yeah, that's right. And that was pretty good. It wasn't quite as enlightening as the technology one, but
It's interesting, but that was kind of like, okay, yeah, okay, you're fans of Star Wars. Pedro Pascal's kind of cool. Gina Carano's pretty cool. She says some kind of very empowering things, and
right. Carl Weathers, obviously, everyone's crazy about him.
yeah, that one was like, okay, these are the people. They're kind of cool. The second episode, I forget what that one was called. Is that story or directors or
No, directors was the first one.
what was the second one?
Dealing with the producers and the effects crew.
I don't even remember.
I think.
I know the second one ends with this like 8 or 10 minute speech as Dave Filoni explains the concept of the 6 Star Wars episodes and how Obi-Wan fighting Darth Maul connects all the way back to Darth Vader and Luke fighting in Return of the Jedi, and how everything ties together.
Yeah, and we talked about that one.
I'm sure we did.
Oh wow, we're not very good at this. Oh well, but
We're still
but
doing
yeah, the last episode was awesome. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
I thought it was cool how they even had the screens on the ceiling
Yeah,
to project light, which is brilliant.
yeah, it's mind blowing. I want to go back and rewatch the show, but maybe I'll wait till the behind the scenes is done. That 95% of that show was filmed indoors, basically filmed in a studio.
Yeah. And that's weird that you said that they mentioned that on the show, how it was so much like 2001. And I've seen the behind the scenes, and they had for one of the scenes they had like a lion eating a zebra. If you remember,
It's been a really long time since I saw.
There's a
2001.
lion feeding on a zebra, and in real life that was not a zebra. It was just a horse that they painted up to look like a zebra, and they were on the sound stage for days, and the thing was rotting, and the cast and everybody was complaining about how horrible it was. So whenever I was watching this documentary, all I could think about was the behind the scenes of 2001 and how horrible that was, and how far they've come along today, where they wouldn't have to have a dead horse on the set, but it made a good shot.
You get a horse? Yeah, we got your horse like you asked. All right, kill it. Huh? And then desecrate its corpse, and then feed it to a lion.
They did that a lot back then.
Feed a lion paint? Whatever.
Yeah, they didn't think that through.
Yeah, PETA wasn't as much a thing then.
No, you could, put horse heads in the beds.
You didn't get the animal people involved until, what was it, Milo and Otis?
It was one of those Disney movies where it's the dog and the cat traveling across country.
What happened to the cat or the dog?
They died.
Lots of cats and dogs
died.
What?
Yeah. They went through probably 3 or 4 of each of them.
Oh my God. Okay, we can't keep talking about this.
Yeah.
All right, Star Wars Gallery. Good stuff.
Yes, it is. Very good stuff.
Yeah, very good stuff. Is there anything else so we can end on a better note than that? I did have a Zoom meeting with Chris. We had our first droid workshop video, and we kind of just outlined what we wanted to do, and just talked a little bit about our experiences and how we plan on going about with this droid building thing. And we're kind of hoping that it's not just us, that if anybody else is interested, if like that guy, we can help you out. We can print some parts up for you, and let you do all the work and stuff, and hopefully everybody will have a 3D printer one day. And I feel like that's kind of what we talked about in the videos, that it's going to be like the future of droid building, at least.
Yeah.
People aren't going to, maybe people are still going to be building with wooden skeletons and stuff like that, but I don't see that anymore with the strength and the lightweight nature of the 3D printing and stuff. I think that it's going to be interesting to follow this as it's kind of growing and becoming something bigger than what it is. We talked about the Facebook groups that you have, that the droid builders groups, and I can't remember the guy's name, but there's that one guy, Badley. Is that his name? I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. The Facebook droid page. It's really good. This guy, he's doing probably more 3D printing droid stuff than anybody, but
do they do all R2 style droids, or do they do BB-8
they do
droids?
everything. They do I've seen what is the new little guy, Dio.
Dio.
I've seen actual working ones rolling around.
No, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
I still can't believe they didn't have a working one for the movie. It seems like people made one so easily, but in the movie it was CGI.
Yeah,
they didn't have a working BB-8.
That's true. They had a dude running behind it, didn't they, with a stick?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Well, I guess whatever works. It's probably more cost effective. Not that.
Well, that's exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But yeah, that's another thing. That maybe this will be, if there are any more feature films, this might be, or just shows and stuff. They might have a lot more 3D printed stuff. Like you guys, I think Paul, you were talking about a documentary you had seen, or maybe it was just on a Star Wars DVD where they were 3D printing armor like a factory.
It's all 3D printed.
Yeah, everything from the new movies is all 3D printed.
Right. And do you think that's all the movies, or depending on just who the director is?
No, it's going to be all of them because it's cheaper and easier.
And they have the same resources, and they have the same.
That's what I was gonna say. ILM, are they probably one of the main people doing their
It's
props and stuff?
not ILM. But yeah, it's the same art group, so same prop masters. It's all the same people working on all the
Gotcha.
movies.
And they're probably 3D printing.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it seems to be the way that it's going to be going. I mean, we'll still have the old traditional ways, but I'm really, I think it's really cool because I remember a time when I thought like, man, it would be cool to have a 3D printer and 3D print stuff myself instead of having to pay this guy for this stuff, you know? And now I've printed so much stuff. I can't believe how, there's not one in every stinking house. It's going to
I gotta pay
eventually
some
be that way.
schmuck with a weird hat.
You call him Dr. Jones.
That's right.
I'd
Respect.
really like to do. Well, I was talking to Chris about droids last year, and I thought it would be really cool to. If I ever did a droid, I'd want to do a T3 droid from the KOTOR games.
Okay, yeah, that's the little
The little not R2D2 droid.
yeah, with the head, the round
yeah, it's like a round
yeah.
short head.
And he's got the arms.
Yeah, it seems to me like it'd be really easy to build, like easier to build than like an R2 thing.
I haven't
It's
thought
pretty
about
simple.
looking him up. You should see if they have files for that. That'd be
I did some looking last year, and it was a total crapshoot. Like there was one guy that built one, and there was like one video on YouTube. I was like,
nowadays you'll have, and I'm on the sites all the time. People will, if you hadn't gone on a website in 3 months, your mind is blown how much more stuff that you were looking for just a little while ago, and now there's like 3 or 4 of them. It's just growing exponentially. I mean, it's awesome. That's why I was saying it's really cool to be a part of it and to see where it's going, because people have been 3D printing for over a decade, probably. I mean, it's been going on for a while, but it's really, I don't think it's really gotten to this point where everybody's got, the ability to get one where they're affordable and everything. Yeah. So that is something else to look forward to.
Word of warning for you there, Evan. If you do get your stuff from Hatner, just know that at some point he'll bring up something and you'll get excited and well, let's do this. And he'll just push you off for more important people. So just forewarning.
Well, people who attended the premiere get first dibs, so.
Drink.
So I guess that's about it for this week.
Okay.
That's all I got.
So yeah, we've got the Garrison, Tyrannus, Serenno Squad. We got all those pages on Facebook that if you're trying to get in touch with us or you're trying to see what we do or whatever, you can find us there, right, Evan? Am I saying that right? Cool.
Yep, Facebook, Instagram. We don't use Twitter. Mostly just Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
And the forums, always the forums.
There is a Twitter account. I check it like once every 2 weeks when I remember.
Yep.
Very good. You're the best.
Yeah. Facebook and Instagram. Those are the main ones.
If you message the Garrison Tyrannus Facebook and Instagram, it'll probably be me who sees it. And if you message the Serenno Squad one, it'll probably be Paul who sees it.
Probably, yeah.
Cool. Okay, well,
All right.
thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. Check us out, and thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.